I want to talk about today the number one thing that will prevent you from building serious wealth. Stay tuned. Make sure you watch this full video because it's going to change your life and the way you look at money. Hey, Jerry Fetta here, founder and CEO of Wealth Dynamics. Hey, I want to give you a quick video today on this week's Fetta Facts. Again, this is all facts, no opinions. And I want to talk about the facts on one thing that probably 90% of us are guilty of. Right? We're guilty of doing. It's not a helpful thing, and it's something that is easy because others want us to do it. Here's the thing that is wrong with this is other people want us to do this. So it's something we shouldn't do. We have a tendency to do it anyways. Everyone else in the world is like, yeah, you should do this. They want us to, and we're not supposed to do it. What is it? Now, before I talk about what it is, I want to just give you guys a quick briefing on these Fetta Facts, right? So as I do these videos, I want you thinking about how this applies to your life. Right? Because if you're watching my content, this is all about financial training. It's all about becoming financially competent, right? Like a true professional with your finances. Okay. The definition of economy means your personal household, right? At the root of that origin, like where it came from originally, it's your personal household, right? So if you're not winning with your personal household, meaning that you're not able to save 40% of your income, you're not gaining passive income, you have a bunch of consumer debt, you're not saving money, your income's been flat for several years. You're not winning, your economy is doing bad. It would be no different than the United States economy doing terrible and people being like, it's all right. You know, we don't want to spend the time, money, or effort to fix it. We'll just let it slowly coast downhill until all of us are doomed, right? So don't wait on these videos until it's too late, right? So when you learn something, use it. You've got to apply what you learn within 24 hours. Here's the thing I want to talk about today. Okay, I'm going to share this on the whiteboard, right? This is the number one thing that is holding people back from really becoming financially great. Okay, here it is. Automaticity. Automaticity, right? Now, what does automaticity actually mean? I want to grab the dictionary definition for you on this word automaticity, right? Let's check out what the definition is of that word. The ability to do things without occupying the mind, with low-level details required, allowing it to become an automatic response pattern or habit, okay? The ability, so it's an ability. We have an ability, like we have a skill or a way of knowing how to do something, right? An ability to do things without occupying the mind. So we have an ability to do something without having to think about it, without having to put any attention on it, right? With low-level details required, meaning we don't really want to get involved in the nitty-gritty of something. We don't really want to get into the details and the minutia of it, right? We want to be just detached and we don't want to have to get involved, right? So low-level details required, allowing it to become an automatic response pattern or habit. We don't want to have to think about it. We don't want to get involved in the details, and we want it to just happen for us, okay? This is probably the number one thing. And this is not just in the wealth category. This is probably one of the number one things that kills anybody at being great at anything. The tendency to try and create automaticity, right? Think about this. And I want to give you an example of this, right? Hey, you want to see a magic trick? Get a copy of my book, Blueprint to Financial Freedom. I know it's in front of my chest and my face because I want you focusing on the book and not me for a moment before you go back to focusing on me and the content. Think about auto, right? Something that's auto, it's automatic, it's on autopilot, right? Self-driving car, for example. That would be automatic. You don't need to think about it. You don't need to do anything, right? And so it's fine when it's like, you know, something like an alarm clock going off, right? It's an automatic thing. I don't need to do anything for my alarm clock to go off. I just hit the button the night before and it goes off. That's totally fine. When it's little things, automaticity is okay. For example, I'm working on an idea that is going to allow my savings account to pay myself first without me having to think about it. Why? Because that's a good idea for me. I'm already saving 40% of every dollar I make. So if I have a function on an app that automatically, when money comes in, transfers 40% of it, not a dollar amount, but an actual percentage of it, into my into my sweep account, my segregated account or my sweep account, so that I can then fund my sacred accounts, that is a good form of automaticity. Okay. Now let me talk about some bad examples of this, because we've all had Times where we're like, man, I just don't want to do the effort. Guys, I get this in business, running a company. You don't know how many things I'm like, man, I just really wish I didn't have to be involved. I really wish I didn't have to answer that question again. I really wish I didn't have to think about this and get involved in the nitty gritty details of that. I really wish this person would just do it for me. I really wish this technology would just do it for me. I'm guilty of it too, right? But automaticity, taking something and saying, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to be involved in the details. I want it to happen for me without me having to lift a finger or do anything. There's a couple of issues with that, especially as it pertains to finances. Now, I find sometimes it's easier to talk about finances if we remove the topic of finances, we insert another topic, and then we use that example and then bring it back around to money. Okay, so let's talk about food for a second instead. How would automaticity apply to food? Right? Oh man, I really don't want to have to spend energy cooking, cleaning up the dishes, going to the grocery store, shopping, all of that stuff. I really don't want to have to be involved. Right? Insert number of reasons here. I'm busy, I'm lazy, I've got too much going on, I'm stressed out. It doesn't matter. I have a rule in my life I call reasons and stories. Nobody cares about your reasons and stories. They care about your results. What did you actually get done? What are you actually producing? That's what you care about for yourself. You feel good when you produce things. So whether someone is doing automaticity on food because they're lazy, they're too busy, they're stressed out, they've got too many projects to think about, they're still at the end doing the same thing. Think about a murder victim. Like you kill someone, gets murdered, right? It doesn't matter why the person did it. Like everyone's got their own reason and story why it happened. It wasn't a good thing. Somebody that does, harmful drugs, they're going to have a reason why they did it. It would literally be crazy for somebody to be like, I did heroin and I don't know why. Like that's the real person I would be concerned about. You know what I'm saying? But if they're like, oh, I lost someone or this or that, or I went through this or I had that experience and therefore now I'm doing drugs, of course they have a reason. Every person has a reason for everything. Reasons don't change what's happening. Reasons don't change results. Reasons are the stories we tell ourselves to feel better about the things we do, the things we have. They're the stories we tell to other people to try and get their sympathy or their support for the things we do, the things we have. Rather than changing the things we do and the things we have, we come up with reasons, right? So reasons are one of the enemies of success. Now, what does this have to do with the food thing? Doesn't matter why you're doing automaticity with food. You are doing automaticity with food in this example. Don't want to cook, don't want to clean, etc. So what happens? I don't want to do blah with my food. I don't want to clean the dishes. I don't want to have to cook. So you have now a immediate solution that comes in that serves my desire to be lazy is really what it is. Okay. Enter fast food, McDonald's, right? Not good for you, not healthy. There's nothing about it that's a positive. It's not even cheaper, right? And so we all of a sudden have an entire culture that starts going through the McDonald's drive-thru. Why? Because they don't want to be involved in their food. They don't want to have to think about it and they want it done for them. Okay, what's the result of this? They're not in control of what's in the food. They're not in control of if it's healthy for them. They're not in control of what they end up looking and feeling like after eating that food. Now, if someone were to remove automaticity from their food and say, okay, this is a responsibility of mine in life. As a person, I have a human body. That's where I live as a spiritual being. I need to take care of it. And here's the thing, guys, this little side rant. Those of you that are like, oh, my physical health doesn't matter. You're the equivalent of somebody that doesn't care what their house looks like, right? You just live in a piece of junk and you're like, oh, I'm not a house. I'm not boards. I'm not a roof. So it doesn't matter. You live there. It does matter. It speaks volumes about your character. If you're in bad physical condition, what does that tell me about you? If your house is in bad shape, what does that tell me about you? Right? Like it still matters. So you saying, okay, I live in a body. That's the house that my spirit lives in. I need to take care of it, which means I need to actually gain knowledge about food. I need to be able to do the work to get the food and make sure it's healthy. Doesn't mean someone can't cook it for me. It doesn't mean I can't go to a restaurant, but there's an amount of involvement that I need to have from a knowledge standpoint so I can take responsibility for the things that matter, which is like a healthy outcome. I feel good, I look good, I'm healthy, and I have control over that. I cannot automate the entire thing. Okay, so what does this have to do with wealth and money on today's Fetta Facts? When we do the automaticity thing with wealth, I don't want to have to learn about money. I don't want to have to think about it. I don't want to be involved. I want it to happen for me. I want my net worth to go up without doing anything. I don't want to have to be in control of that, right? That is the definition of what we're doing with the food, the McDonald's thing. Okay, I don't want to know about it. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be involved. Therefore, I'm not gonna. I want it all done for me. Oh, here's someone that will do it all for me. Let me hand it off to them, right? And what's the result of that? Just like the fast food, guys, look at the statistics of America with finances today. 60% of us have less than $1,000 saved. More than half the population. If you're watching this video, I talk to people day in and day out, and my team talks to people day in and day out, where they can't even afford to invest $500 or $1,000 in their own financial education. Could you imagine that? Like you're dying of cancer, the treatment's $1,000, and you can't even afford that. Or you can, but you can't see past the fact that you're going to have to spend money and be involved because you're doing the automaticity thing. And even though it's causing financial cancer, it's easier than getting involved and actually doing some work. This is nonsense, guys. It's got to stop. Right? So here's the deal. If you're not involved in your finances, you don't desire to be involved, we get things like this. 80% of us are paycheck to paycheck. The average retirement account is only $100,000. Only 5% of Americans are going to be financially secure at age 65. Those are the results of the system we're in. And here's the system we're in. The average person does not spend any time learning about money. We're not taught about money in school. We don't reach out and try and learn about money. We get money, and the first thing we do, we give it away to everybody. We give it away to the IRS. We give it away to Wall Street. We give it away to the bank, right? And we can sit here, and here's the funny thing is because there's a tendency to be like, oh, I found the wormhole in the matrix, and all of these people are taking our money and they're making us slaves. No, you did that. You gave them your money. They didn't take it from you. The Wall Street guys didn't put a gun to your head and make you put money in the 401k. Nobody at the bank made you at gunpoint sign a mortgage you couldn't afford where you give them all your paycheck for a house that's going to break down and die over the next 30 years as you pay for it. Twice, by the way. Nobody made you do that. You were doing automaticity with your finances. You didn't want the knowledge. You didn't want to have to be responsible for it. You didn't want to have to be in control. So instead of learning these things, we look for the easy way out. Okay, now here's the thing, and here's the solution. I don't want to just rip you guys a new one today and then not provide any solutions, right? But the thing I'm talking about here is laziness. It's a joke. It is a complete joke to think you will build any sort of financial freedom at any level, to any degree, without being involved, without learning about money. It's not going to happen. It's impossible. It's literally like just go to the gas station and buy scratch-off tickets instead. That's more likely to work for you than think, oh, I'm gonna suddenly start doing all these 1% activities, but I'm not gonna actually learn about any of them, and I'm not gonna be involved, and someone's gonna do them all for me. No. Do you know what's gonna happen? You're gonna set up a retirement account with Wall Street where they will make marginal returns after fees, inflation, and taxes. You didn't really make anything. They got 30% of the money in fees guaranteed, whether it goes up or down, right? They lose you money, they're still going to take their fees. And at the end, you're going to still be paycheck to paycheck. Just like going through the McDonald's drive-thru. So somebody who's telling you, it's okay, you don't need to think about finances. It's okay, you don't need to be involved. I'll handle it for you. It's okay. You don't need to be in control of the market. If you just wait long enough, it'll go back up. You guys see the problem with this? So here's the solution. Hey, what's up? Jerry here. I just wanted to give you another reminder. Grab my book, Blueprint to Financial Freedom. It's going to be one of the best books you have ever read on finance. I can promise you that. You're going to love it. It's also a free offer. So if you go to jerryfetta.com/B2F promo, you can get that now. You're down here. This is the hill of wealth. We got wealth at the very top, right? Here's you. And you need to push yourself all the way to the top. Okay, this is going to be studying. This is going to be effort. This is going to be foregoing doing other things because you're going to get your money figured out and your wealth built instead. And this is going to be years of consistency in doing this. Right? I was talking to someone yesterday. We have a program called the 90-Day Challenge, right? And people will do the 90-Day Challenge and they have a financial transformation. We had someone that finished their 90-Day Challenge recently with $14,000 extra saved because they went through the 90-day program. Another client that started, he's halfway through, right? He's 6 weeks into it, $4,800 in debt paid off. an extra $300 a month saved, which is about $4,000 for the year, right? And he's not even done with the 90 days. Sometimes people will finish that program and they'll be like, I'm done. I did it. I did my 90 days. Here's the problem. 90 days is like here, right? You're like 10 to 15 years. So the idea that watching a little YouTube video all of a sudden changed my life. And I'm not going to say it doesn't, because there's information and education, and that's why I do these videos, is for the purpose of giving you what I got. Someone gave me information that changed my thinking, my awareness level. The video didn't change my life though. I changed my life after I got the new thinking, because I changed what I did every day. You see the difference there? You need to push yourself all the way to the top of the hill. When you get to the top, you are able to start coasting and going down. It's less effort. But you're not in a position to do that yet, right? So if you're not like, and here's where it becomes less effort. When you're consistently saving 40% of your income, you've got zero consumer debt. That's where it's a little bit less effort, because now every month you've got money going aside into an investment, and that investment's going to start cash flowing for you and paying you passive income, and it starts to snowball and it gets easier. But you are working against gravity. You're working against the entire system that doesn't want you to take responsibility for your finances. Guys, if you learn about money and you learn about investing, you become your own bank with the sacred account. You start self-directing your investments. Wall Street and banks lose you as customers. The IRS doesn't get as much money from you on your taxes, because when you put money in the sacred account, it's never taxed again. Do you really think that these groups want you to stop the automaticity game with your finances? Do you really think they want you to? No, because they like the idea that you're going to give them control, that you're going to give them responsibility, that you're not going to know anything and they're going to know everything. That's how slaves are made. That is how financial slaves are made. And we can talk about how bad these guys are that take advantage of us and this and that. But at the end of the day, if you have an iPhone or a dictionary or a computer or a Wi-Fi connection or anything like that, there is zero reason why you can't be financially literate. Zero good reason. It's just not a priority. That's what it comes down to. It's just not a priority. So if it's not a priority, like just own up to it. Hey, it's not a priority for me to build wealth. I'm just gonna, fall off and become a burden to my family and society because it's not a priority for me to build wealth. Other people are gonna take care of me. I'm gonna be contributed to instead of being someone that contributes to others, right? It's just not a priority. Admit that. Now, if it's a priority, you're saying, no, I don't actually want that, right? I don't want the idea that my kids have to change my diapers when I'm old and pay $10,000 a month for my nursing home because I didn't plan ahead because I was being a good parent the whole time, right? I don't want the idea that I can't donate to my church when they ask for help. I don't want the idea that I'm not going to retire and because of that, my family's going to be concerned about me all the time. I don't want the idea that I can't travel and see people that I love and places that I love. I don't want that. I want something better. If you're telling me that that's the priority, then the number one next priority needs to be time and money allotted to becoming financially free. This becomes your number one budget item. Number one budget item. Not the last one, not how do I avoid spending money on it, not how do I avoid spending time on it, because if you do that, you will stay trapped. That is exactly what Wall Street and the banks and the financial institutions want you to do. They don't want you to learn. They don't want you to spend time on getting free. They want you to stay in the trap. Why? Because they benefit from you being trapped. You don't benefit from you being trapped. They do. Okay, so you need to get to the very top of the hill, and that means you remove financial automaticity from your life. You need to be involved. You need to learn about this. You need to be active daily. You need to be looking at things, watching things, reading things. You need to change your financial habits and behaviors. You need to actually have it being done by you, not done for you. See, that's what my company does. I used to be a financial advisor. You give me your retirement money, I'll stick it in the oven of Wall Street at 365 degrees for 20 years. And hopefully when it's done, you've got enough money for your nest egg and you don't need to think about it or do anything. 95% of the time that's happening, it fails. From the Social Security Administration themselves, 95% failure rate on that system. So we already know it doesn't work. And if you're watching this video, if you're a member of mine or a client of mine, or if you're just a follower, this is your first time seeing my stuff, this is your wake-up call. This is your wake-up call. It's a fact that you will not build wealth on accident. You will not build wealth by giving up control. You will not build wealth by avoiding knowledge. You will not build wealth by having someone else do it all for you, right? You need to do that. You will not study a single wealthy person. I've got a whole library of books behind me of top 1%ers I've studied. You're not going to find a single one of them that says, I got here by knowing nothing, doing nothing, being responsible for nothing, and having it all happen for me. You won't find a single one that says that. They're gonna say, I learned about money, I was involved, it was hard work, it was a primary thing I focused on, and because of that, 10 or 15 years later, I was financially free, and my family and my legacy benefited because of it, and I made the world a better place because I actually had the ability and resources to do that. Okay, so I hope this video, did two things for you. I hope it kind of stung a little bit, because that was my intention, is I wanted to give you this training video today on removing financial automaticity, and all of us, including me, are guilty of that. This message is just as much for me as it is for you, right? But the other thing I hope this video did for you today is I hope that the video inspired you. I hope it inspired you to become more involved with your finances, right? And here's the beauty of this. There's no level of involvement that's too much. If you're already really involved, how could you be even more involved? How could you get more knowledge? How could you even do even more training? How could you be even more hands-on with things? Right? Because here's my final word on this, especially for those of you that are parents. You will not be able to teach your kids and grandkids things that you don't know. And if you don't know about money, you're not going to be able to teach them about money, which means they're never going to know about money, which means they're never going to teach their kids about money, and their kids will never teach their kids about money. So this is important if you're looking to be the one that breaks the cycle, right? The one that turns it all around. It's going to be hard work. It's not going to be easy, but you've got me and my team here to support you. So guys, thank you for watching this video, this Fetta Facts today. Be sure you like, share, subscribe, comment below if this resounded with you, if you have any thoughts or questions. I'll see you next time. Hey, this is Jerry Fetta here. I want to thank you for watching my video, watching my content. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to learn more about the blueprint to financial freedom and how you can achieve passive income that exceeds your savings, your expenses, your taxes, your generosity, and build wealth like the top 1%, I want to encourage you, grab a copy of my book, The Blueprint to Financial Freedom. You can go to jerryfetta.com/B2F promo, or you can click the link in the description of the video here. The copy is free. You cover your shipping. We'll send the book out to you, and we'll send you an email with a bunch of great bonus material also for free. Get the book, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on my next content.